cold outside. It is the holiday season, so it is the perfect time to make some homemade cinnamon rolls. Now I'm going to be using a recipe, and clearly I don't even remember what the name of this book is, but I have used this for years. I'm pretty sure it was from my church that I grew up in. But this has been my mom's, and it pretty much, I got her recipe book when she passed away, and so I use this book all the time. And there is such an easy, simple recipe in here for cinnamon rolls, so I just wanted to share that with you because it's something that I do every year, and it's just something that nobody really thinks about to make is homemade cinnamon rolls. You know, you make cookies and fudge and, you know, what, Chex Mix and all that stuff, but cinnamon rolls nobody really makes. So I always try to make those, and I give them out to my family as usually gifts, usually the week of Christmas, because we are all so busy, and you know, just having that nice little moist cinnamony goodness to eat is just absolutely great. So I'm actually doing it a little bit early, but I just really wanted to eat some, so I'm gonna make some. So what I did over here first is I am boiling, which it finally has come up to a boil, and this is 1/4 cup of milk, so I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit, and to that we are going to be adding 1/4 cup of sugar. So I'm going to put that in here. Just like that, and let's see, we need to get us a stir. Flip my camera around here. Okay. So we need to get this sugar stirred in here. Okay, then we need to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just gonna throw some in there. And then we need 3 tablespoons of butter. Now I'm just using stick butter. You can use what you got. So if you have it in your dish that you buy at the store, you can use that. But we just want to get all this melted, and when all the butter and stuff gets melted, we'll turn it off, take it off the burner, and we will just let it sit right here until it cools down. So I turned the temperature down to low. Okay, so I'm going to bring you back over here. Okay, sorry, my camera glitched out, so I will just repeat that. I put 1/4 cup of warm water in here. You want to make sure it's warm. And all I'm going to do is just give this a little tiny slow stir to get the yeast in there. But the warm water is going to activate your yeast, so that way it's going to rise. So we're just going to give this a little stir for a few minutes. And it'll stick. We want to try to get all of that in the water. Okay, so we're going to let this sit because we want all that yeast to activate in there. So we're going to pop back over here to the stove. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we are almost melted here. We need to get all this butter melted in our pot. And so once this all gets melted here, which it pretty much is, I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner off. Okay, so all of our butter's melted. Now I will bring you back when this is cooled down. I'm just going to take it and set it over here, and I will be back when this is cooled and we can move on to the next step. Okay, so we're back. Our mixture that we have of the milk, sugar, and salt and butter have come to room temperature. It only took about 10 minutes. So that's all nice and melted and cooled to room temperature. Okay, so we have our yeast, and it has started to thicken up a little bit. So to this, I'm going to add 1 beaten egg. That up. Then I'm going to add our mixture that we cooked on the stove. that up, give it a little stir. Okay, then I'm going to add my flour, and I'm only going to add, this is two cups and 1/4, 2 1/4 cup of flour, yes. So I'm only going to add about a cup and get that mixed up in there, and then I'll just add little bit by little bit because I don't want to throw it all in there together. I want to mix it nice and slow. You cannot rush wonderful baked goods. You just need to take your time, do it gentle. Okay. I'm just going to add in probably about half the bowl here. That's what I'll add, and then I'll add in the rest. So it's going to start to get a little bit clumpy, but it's going to start to form into a ball also. And the ball is what we want. Okay, I'm going to add in the rest. Okay. It's doing pretty good. It's starting to thicken up. But we want to make sure we mix this really good. Just kind of, what you can do is just fold it in there and then push out. Just take it and push it against it to where it's going to form into a ball. This is what we want. Just like this. Okay, I'm going to scrape this off here. Alright, now, here's the thing. Make sure your home is warm, okay? Whatever, with your kitchen that you're doing, get your oven on, or, keep it really warm in the room that you're doing this in, because the warmer that your room is, the more this will rise a lot faster. So all I'm going to do is, it's formed a ball, so now all I'm going to do is take a towel, and I'm just going to cover this up on my counter. I'm going to come back in about 20 to 25 minutes and just check to see if it's risen a little bit. Sometimes I leave this anywhere from 1 to 2 hours because I want it to double in size. And then once it does, I'm just going to punch it and let it rise again. So I will meet you back when this has doubled in size. Okay, so it has doubled in size, so all I'm going to do is punch it, and it's going to sink down a little bit, not too much, but it's been a couple hours, or about an hour and a half, so I'm going to let this sit another hour, hour and a half. There, it's still pretty gooey, so I'm just going to put this back over it, nothing gets on it, and I'll see you back in a couple hours. Alright, so it is pretty much doubled inside. I did punch it down just a little bit. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we're going to get us some casserole dishes out. But first we're going to put some flour down. And I just usually fill up like 1/4 cup and just sprinkle on there. Touch it with my hand so I can get this right out so it'll flop out. And then I'm just going to kind of knead it a few times. Make sure I get it all powdery. Get out our rolling pin, and we need to get some flour on there, and then we're just going to roll it out. Now you want to try to get it well out there. I think that's pretty good. So let me put the camera up here, and it's a pretty good amount of dough. So it'll make a couple dishes. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some butter out of my dish, and it's gonna be probably about 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna get a bowl. And I'm just gonna get a couple tablespoons here, and I'm gonna put it in the microwave, so I'll bring you back when I get that melted. Okay, so I have my butter melted. I'm just gonna pour it on here, and then I'm just gonna spread it out with my little thing here. Now if you don't have that, you can use your hand, or you can use a fork, a spoon, but these are really nice to have. And I might have to melt some more butter. Because we want it to go all over the dough here. I think we might have it. Pour some out of the middle. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. You might want to go with 3. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take some brown sugar. And I'm probably going to use about a half a cup to a whole cup. And it all depends on how sweet you want your rolls. So I'm literally just going to take it by the palm, and I'm just going to spread it around the entire dough. And you can spread it out with your hands to where, because there'll be some clumps in there and you don't want it too clumpy. And we're just going to keep spreading it all the way around our dough here, and just trying to get a nice consistency with the sugar. I'd probably say this is about a half a cup, maybe 3/4, not even a whole cup. So just want to make sure that you're covering the entire dough with that. So see, that's all I've done there. Now what we're going to do, some of that off our hands, is we're going to take some ground cinnamon, and we're just going to sprinkle, oh, I don't have a little thing. Just going to sprinkle it on the top. And I'm probably going to use about 2 tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons. But you can just sprinkle this on. I think it works out just as good if you just sprinkle it on. Just like that. Looks pretty fantabulous if you ask me. Okay. I broke my little selfie stick thingy, so, you know, this just kind of, I haven't got another one yet. Okay, so I'm just going to move this flour out because I don't need any more of that. I don't really want it in my dough. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our end, and we're just going to start folding it over. Just like, you know, when you fold a rug or carpet up, you know, just going to do that. Now, if it does stick to your counter, you know, that's why we want to put the flour down, but if it sticks, then just get you a butter knife and just like scrape it up. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this over. So you're basically going to have this nice, beautiful log. Okay, then we're just going to take, let me get my butter here. I don't know if I have enough in there. I'm just going to kind of, I might have some left in my bowl. I just want to put a little bit of butter. I'm going to have to melt some butter, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I just melted some butter, and I'm just going to put this in my pan just to where I know my cinnamon rolls won't stick, and I'm even putting it on the sides. So I'm just going to start out with one because I don't know how many is going to go in there. It's a little bit different every single time. Okay, Okay, so we're just gonna start at the end. Actually, I don't want to scratch my countertop. So I'm gonna use my little, this is a little pizza cutter, but I love this because it's not gonna scratch my counters. And I'm gonna make them about about an inch big, because they are gonna rise. I'm gonna let them sit in the pan for about 20 minutes after I get them all in there, and just let them rise a little bit in the pan. Now you don't have to, but if you want them just a little bit bigger, you can just let them sit in there for about 20-25 minutes. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pick them up just like this, and see, you can see it's kind of like a flower, but we're just gonna set them in there just like this. And I'm not going to put them right up on top of each other, since I'm going to cover them with a towel, and I'm going to let them perk up a little bit. Okay, so there's our first dish, okay? So I'm going to set this over here. I'm going to take a towel and I'm just going to cover it. About, I would say 20-25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I'm not really sure. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to use this smaller pan here. I get out a bunch of different sizes because you just never know. Sometimes you can use 2 big ones. It all just depends on, a lot of it depends on the humidity in your house. It depends on the weather outside, on how big your rolls can get. I've had them sometimes where they were twice the size of this, and I did the exact same procedure that I did tonight, but it was just, the weather was different. So the weather does play a kind of a little toll in the world of baking. Alright, so there's those. Let me get my other towel here. I'm just going to cover them up, and I'll see you back in about 25 minutes. Alright, so it's been about 25 minutes and they've gotten a little bit bigger. So I'm going to put them in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes and then check on them. So I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we have right under 5 minutes. So I put, I'm going to make the icing. So I just put a ½ tablespoon of whole milk in here. And I'm going to add a ½ cup of powdered sugar. And then I'm going to add just like a dollop of corn syrup. I don't want to add a whole lot, just like a drip. And then we're going to stir. There we go. Now this doesn't make very much, but I've only got like a pan and a half of cinnamon rolls. I'm going to grab the milk and I'll be right back. Okay, just going to add another ½ tablespoon of milk in here. You don't want to do too large of increments with this. I think I'm going to have to do another dose. I don't think that's going to be enough. Alright, so we're going to do another ½ cup of that. There's a half. So we're up to 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk and 2 dollops, or probably a half a teaspoon of corn syrup. I always start small and then I work my way up, only because I don't want to have extra of this, because then I have to make more stuff with icing because it's stuff you can't really store. I mean, you could put it in the fridge and use it like the next day, but I'd rather just start small and work my way up. So that looks like that is going to do really good. Tastes pretty good too. Alright, so I'm just going to let this sit. I have right under 2 minutes left on the stove. This looks really, really good. So I'm going to get my little mess cleaned up here, and by then the rolls should be coming out of the oven, so I'll bring you back when those are done. Alright, so they're done. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to eat these. These look so yummy. Let me get my towel here. Just gonna hold this one up so you can kind of see it. You can see all the brown sugar and the cinnamon in there, and it's bubbling up. Oh, it just looks absolutely delicious. Okay. So now I'm just going to take my little whisk here and I'm just gonna drizzle it on the tops. I'm just gonna do a little bit on each, and then I'll come back with more after I get them all done. I don't want a whole lot of icing on them, but obviously you need just enough. But this is one easy way to do it with your whisk, so you're not having to wash extra dishes. These look so good. Can't wait till they cool down and I can eat them. But this is really simple. I mean, especially the icing. Super, super simple. It's just a waiting game, really. I mean, it does take a little while. I mean, you know, I waited a couple hours, and then I, you know, punched the dough. And then I waited an hour. I think it was either an hour or a little over an hour. And then I rolled it out. So, I mean, it does take a little bit, but you can't rush baking. If you want it to be delicious, you cannot rush it. I remember I used to rush so much when I got out on my own. Because I was 20 when I was pregnant with my daughter. And I thought I could, you know, be Betty Crocker with, you know, being out on my own with her dad, and I burnt so much stuff. So take your time, do it right, it will taste amazing. So after we've gotten our icing on, oh, don't those look delicious, and they smell amazing. Can't wait to eat them. So that is it. I will link all the ingredients down in the description box. I hope that you have all enjoyed this video. Please give me that thumbs up. I hope that you all have a blessed day, happy holidays, and thanks for watching.